Hello everyone, this is Born to Watch 723 and I'm back with a new lesson. To have, to not have, and more random words. I'm really sorry if I've been off lately because we've lost our internet connection and I haven't been able to post any more videos on YouTube. I'm very sorry for that, but I promise I'll be making more Filipino tutorials, and I hope that you'd subscribe and continue to support me and recommend my videos to other Tagalog learners. So I'm very happy with all your comments. I'm glad you like the way I teach. I promise to do all in my efforts so you'd learn our language, though it's quite complicated. So without further ado, let's go to our lesson. To have or to not have. Okay, to have is meron. Meron. To not have is wala. 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 So meron is to exist and wala is to not exist. So if I ask you, may ticket ka na ba? Which means, do you have a ticket? If you already have one, you'd say meron po or meron, which means yes, I do have one. Okay. If you don't know what po is yet, or what it does to a sentence, I recommend that you watch lesson 2, Being Polite in the Philippines. It includes po, opo, and other things. Watch it so you'd understand how po works. So, on the other hand, if you've already watched the video or you already know what po is and what it does to a sentence, let's move on. If you don't have a ticket yet, you say wala pa po or wala pa, which means no, I don't have one yet. So the ticket, by the way, is a bus ticket or a train ticket or a movie ticket, not any police ticket or parking ticket or whatever. So if you've noticed, there's no yes or no or opo or oo or hindi po before meron or wala, because in English you say yes I do or no I don't, but in Filipino it would be rather redundant if you still say opo or hindi po before meron or wala, because it's understandable that when you say meron or wala, you already do have something and you don't have to say yes or no. So I hope you understand that, and it'll be more easier for you anyway because you'll have to omit a 2-syllable word. So let's move on. Okay, how to ask if someone has something or not. So if you want to ask someone, do you have this? You would say, meron ka bang Okay. If on the other hand, don't you have this? Don't you have that? You'd say, wala ka bang blank? You'd reply with the person you're speaking to, or if you're the one being asked, would reply with, meron akong blank, which means I have this. And if he or she doesn't have something, or the something you're asking for, she'd say wala akong blank, which means I don't have that specific thing you want, whatever it is. Next. Okay, things. In my first video, Basic Filipino Expressions and Words, I've already told you a few things a few names of things that you might want to ask. But here, let's add more words to your vocabulary. And the first thing I thought of, which is most probably the first thing people would ask for, is pera, which is money. Okay, a bit of trivia. The Philippine currency is the Philippine peso. Peso. In Filipino, just like in Spanish, it's piso. Okay, so there will be more happy Spanish speakers, because once again it's another word that's similar in Spanish. Moving on, you want to ask someone, do you have money with you? Do you have any money on your wallet? You'd ask them, meron ka bang pera right now? Do you have money right now? So, on the other hand, don't you have any money with you? Are you a beggar? You'd say, wala ka bang perang dala? Or wala ka bang pera? Which means, alright, don't you have money? Okay, next. Okay, more trivia. More. How to say the amount of money you have. So this will involve numbers. So if you haven't watched basic Filipino expressions and words yet, please watch it so you'd at least know what the numbers 1 to 10 are. So if you already know that, or if you already watched the video, here's the formula to say how much money you have. Just take the Filipino number, add NG and piso or pesos. Okay, so 5 piso would mean 5 pesos, 10 piso would be 10 pesos. Now before we move on to the last two, tens is pu, 100 is daan, thousands is libo, and millions is milyon. So if you want to say 300 pesos, you take tatlong plus NG, tatlong plus daan, which means 100, and add G, so it'll be smoother when you talk, and say tatlong daang piso, which means 300 pesos. In the same way, 8,000 piso, which would mean 8,000 pesos. I didn't include million because nobody really has that much money, so it's pointless. So let's move on. Okay, here's another fact that would make our Spanish speakers very happy. For numbers greater than 10 but less than 100, use Spanish numbers. Now, why on earth would we use Spanish numbers instead of Filipino numbers? We're learning Tagalog here, right? Okay, so here's the reason. Numbers 11 to 99 have really long syllables. There's 4 syllables in 3 or 4 syllables in number 11. So la, bing, I, sa, 4 syllables in number 11. So it's 4 syllables. It's not really convenient, and it's not really commonly used anyway, and it's not natural. You won't hear it in Filipino streets when somebody pays their fare in a jeepney or a bus. You won't hear people say labing isang piso or the like, labindalawa or labintatlo. And anyway, you probably noticed that the NG and N are different for each number, and that even worsens as we go to 14 onwards. So just for your convenience, to make it easier for you, you'd better use Spanish numbers instead. So 11, 12, 13 are more commonly used. So look at the difference. La, bing, I, sa, 4 syllables. So 11, 12, 11, 12, 2 syllables. See, it's easier. So there's nothing wrong with using Tagalog equivalents, but it's just not natural. I hope you understand. A lot of people get mad at me for this, but in my opinion, it's very it's not common for you to use the Tagalog equivalents for long numbers like these. It's just for your convenience. But please keep in mind that when you use Spanish numbers, don't mix Spanish and Tagalog. It doesn't work. So if you're going to say 35, don't say 35. It's so wrong, okay? If you're going to use Spanish, use it all the way. Say 35, 35, .35 gun, whatever. In the same way, if you're going to say 21, don't say 21, say 21. Okay? Now for numbers in